Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be talking about 4 ways to relieve lower back pain, and particularly one of the most common causes of lower back pain is in the L5-S1 region. So that's where your sacrum joins onto your spine. This is sometimes known as a spondylolisthesis, which is a big word for saying that one vertebra moves forward on another. So you can get a spondylolisthesis in the lower part of the lumbar spine, L3, 4, 5, and this can be really debilitating and quite scary actually. It'll probably feel like, you know, your back's going to give out on you. So when you're in these initial stages of feeling really vulnerable in your back and that you can't move, you can't pick up anything, these are the exercises I would recommend you do. They're very simple, but they're going to probably get you past that point where you feel like you can't move. So the first one I'm going to use a ball. This is like a soft ball that has a valve. If you don't have a ball, just use a rolled up cushion. You could tie it into a ball or a rolled up pillow. And what we're going to use this for is we're going to put it on the front of the body and help to lift the sacrum up. So you're going to lie with this right on the lower part of the abdomen. So I'll show you how that looks. So lying on your belly, taking your soft ball or a rolled up pillow or cushion and place it just below the navel like this, so that really what you're doing here is you're pressing the sacrum up in this direction, and the lower vertebra of the spine are also being pressed up. So if you do in fact have a spondylolisthesis in this area, which is where one vertebra moves on top of another, it will feel quite comfortable. So you can stay here from anything from 1 to 10 or 15 minutes even, and you may find this gives you considerable relief when you're in an acute phase of lower back pain. So you may want to just pause the video at this point so you can spend a bit longer at this point. So once you've done that first exercise with the ball, the second one we're going to use a hard-covered book or a block. And you're going to place this under the sacrum, this time lying on your back. Lift up your hips, slide the block under you. And the first thing is to make sure that the block is directly under your sacrum, not under your back. First thing is just hug your knees in toward your chest. And again, this will probably feel quite comfortable if you have, in fact, got a problem with the vertebra moving forward on the other. So a couple of options here. Either bring the knees in toward the chest like this. If you're more flexible, you could do that with the legs out straight, and it's completely up to you. The important thing here is that you're able to have a sense of the legs or the knees coming toward you. So this is where the block is going to help you. So you just can stay like this for anything from 1 to 5 to even 10 minutes. Just to bring some length to that lower back. So up to 10 minutes, just drawing the knees in toward the chest, and you could alternate with straightening the legs and bending. Straightening and bending. Then once you've finished that, lift up your hips. Remember to lift the tailbone as you lift your hips. Lower the hips, roll onto your side. Then the next couple involved being able to breathe into the belly. the muscles on the lower back are very influenced by what happens on the front. Often when we have a sore lower back, we tense in the belly, and this can in fact aggravate the lower back. So it's kind of ironic because one needs to be strong in the abdomen, but if you have too much tension there, it will actually make your back worse. What I'm going to show you in the next couple of exercises is how to breathe into the belly while lengthening the lower back. It may be slightly counterintuitive to what you have been shown before. So in this exercise, you're going to come on your hands and knees like this. Press your hands and knees in opposite directions from each other. And then at the same time, pull your armpits and hips toward each other. Lift up your ribs. So you'll see this really creates some length through that sacrum, through the lower back. And then finally, can you take a breath into the belly? And then release just to a neutral position. So don't let the back collapse like that. Keep it a little bit lifted. Try that again. Lift your ribs, press hands and knees away from each other, pull armpits toward hips. Release to neutral. One more time. Lifting up. Armpits toward hips, lift the ribs, take a breath into the belly. Okay. And then in this final exercise, I'm going to show you two ways of doing this, one in a chair and one standing. So if you are having to sit a lot during the day, which most of us are, you can do this sitting in a chair. Right, so if you're sitting in a chair, you're going to bring the top of the pelvis back. So it's similar to what we just did on the hands and knees. It's a sense of lengthening through the lower back, lengthening through the middle back, through the upper back. So you really get that exaggerated rounding. Then in that position, take a breath. Come back to neutral. A lot of us that spend a lot of time sitting get really shortened through the front of the hips, through the hip flexors. And the idea here is that you're opening up your hip flexors. We'll do that one more time. Take the top of the pelvis back, front ribs back, hold it like that, take a breath into the belly. Come back to neutral. And finally, you can do that same exercise in a kind of half standing position like this with your hands just above your knees, arms turned in slightly. Bring the top of the pelvis back, so you're kind of tucking your tailbone. Lift your ribs, armpits toward hips, hips toward armpits. Take a breath. Release. One more time. Tuck your pelvis back, bring your ribs up. Take a breath into the belly. And come up. So those are 4 different ways of getting the sacrum and the lower back in position. It's likely that many people are experiencing lower back pain from prolonged sitting, especially in the period of time we're in now with this pandemic, and many people spending a lot more time online. So give those a try, and you may find that helps get you out of trouble when it comes to severe lower back pain. Thanks for joining me today. Namaste.